I was straight until I met Carter. It was the start of the sophomore year in college when I met Carter. I had just moved into a new apartment complex, and he was my neighbor. In fact, he was new to the college town and came from a nearby town. We had a friendly, platonic relationship at first. He was openly gay and would oftentimes be very vocal about his sexuality. In the group chat that we had for the apartment complex, he made it clear to everyone from day one that he was a flaming homosexual and was proud of it. Carter made an invitation to the entire group chat that he was hosting a housewarming event and would like for everyone to come to his room for a welcoming party. That was the night when I first met Carter in person. The first thing that I, along with most others, noticed was the gorgeous and stylish nature of how he set up and decorated his apartment. Carter was also dressed very well groomed, and he had on a white, button-up shirt, khaki pants, and fancy shoes. He had a pale skin complexion and had ginger orange hair that made him uniquely stand out among the crowd of people. It was obvious to everyone that Carter came from a wealthy background, which he did since he later mentioned that his dad was the mayor of the town that he came from. There were mostly pretty women there and there were very few men that showed up. I live in a conservative state in the South where a lot of guys do tend to be homophobic, but I was never put off and disliked those people who would make fun of or ignore someone just because they were gay. We all had drinks and listened to music while getting to know each other. When I first introduced myself, he was very nice and would speak in a soft voice, although I did notice that he had a sweet smile on his face while talking to me. I carried on with getting to know everybody else that was there and later went back to my apartment after I was a little drunk and went to sleep. I found out that he lived by himself along with his cute cat Jasper because apparently other people could not handle his big personality. I chucked to myself at that thought because it was eerily similar to my situation. I also lived in a single apartment by myself because of certain circumstances at the time. I really liked his cat because it was the cutest and most adorable cat I had seen in a while, with its fur being snow white. The cat definitely had a sophisticated and charming personality to him, kind of just like how Carter was. I really did not think much of our first encounter, nor did I feel attracted to him in any way because I had never even thought of being in a relationship with a guy. In the past, there would always be gay people in my life, and I met them through the mutual friends that we had in common. I am a person who loves everyone and would be willing to become friends with just about everyone regardless of how they looked or what their life was like. I did not judge or feel uncomfortable around gay people and would just be willing to treat them like any other guy. I feel like those that choose not to associate with someone just because they are gay are missing out on understanding humans in general, and that their decision is purely arrogant. I started to notice that some of these people who exhibited gay behavior would oftentimes be extra friendly towards me and would always be smiling when having a conversation with me. None of them would ever actually tell me that they were gay, but it was kind of easy to tell by the way they dressed, talked, and some would paint their nails. I thought that maybe that was their style and didn't think anything of it since the culture is always changing. Perhaps I radiated gay energy, but I assumed that everyone knew I was not gay and that I just liked making friends since everyone is interesting and unique in their own way. I don't think I would ever openly exhibit gay behavior, but looking back I don't believe there were many times where I would exhibit straight behavior either because I never really talked to or hit on girls that were part of the friend groups. There would oftentimes be situations that almost seemed like they were waiting for me to make the first move so that they could then reciprocate it and express their desire to love me. I always brushed this off since I thought that everyone knew I had been a straight guy my whole life and had never had any sort of romantic or sexual gay relationships. But I had to admit, I never really pursued females either at this time, and nobody would ever see me with a female or bring a girl to come hang out with us. I thought that this had to do with my Christian upbringing and that this was the effect of growing up and learning since a kid that having sex before marriage is shameful. Maybe this is why I never really actually had a relationship with girls throughout high school and never attended prom or homecoming. I can now see why that the gay men in the friend groups I was in saw me as a closeted homosexual who did not understand myself at the time. I do, however, get aroused and attracted by hot, pretty women, but I always held myself back from pursuing them, which I still do not quite know why. My best guess is my Christian family upbringing played a big part in my life and still have lingering effects even though I quit attending church when I was 15. When other guys would talk dirty and lust about other girls, I was usually the one to stay quiet. I had to admit, I did find myself enjoy being around gay men because their personality was more easygoing, less pretentious, and less aggressive than my other friends. I always had a feeling that gay men really understood themselves more so than other people because they were choosing to get what they really wanted out of life. I never once considered becoming intimate or pursuing a relationship with other guys. I had been raised in a proper and somewhat strict household, and there had been nobody that was gay in my family. So the option of being gay was never even considered or brought to my attention growing up. One day while taking the elevator, I bumped into Carter while he was getting off. He said, "Hey Mike," with a soft, sweet smile on his face. I was surprised that he had remembered my name. I greeted him as well and briefly talked about where we were going and our plans were for that day. I said, "Well, see you later, Carter," and he said bye, and we both went on with our days. Later that week, I was at a popular local bar nearby just enjoying my evening, dancing, chatting with people I recognized and knew, and of course getting drunk. I was by myself this night, which was nothing out of the ordinary since I usually end up finding people I know and hanging out with them. I would also either just vibe on the dance floor with strangers or listen to the band play standing by myself and drinking because it felt like I was at a small concert. I was standing by the railing when out of nowhere someone taps me on the shoulder. I turn back and see that it's Carter. He was with two other very gorgeous women who all stopped, and he once again said, "Hey Mike," in that same soft tone of his. I responded with, "Hey Carter, what's up, what are you up to?" Carter replied, "Nothing much, just hanging out." I didn't really know what to say. I really did not expect him to approach me out in public since we were not really friends at this time and only vaguely knew each other. Carter then said, "It was good to see you," with a smile on his lip, and I replied, "You too." Him and his two friends started walking away and I was just standing there in a puzzled state. I thought to myself, why would someone of his level of high social class and popularity want to interact with a person like me, especially when he is gay? And I never made any mention of me liking men or being gay to him. I realized that the same old scenario was happening again. Gay men sensing a part of me and my personality that they felt connected to inside themselves as well. I am a big believer that energy is the universal indicator of how connected and how well people are able to interact with each other. I went home later that night and could not stop thinking about the many gay men that were attracted to me throughout my life and how I never even considered if I was kind of gay in a way. This was the start of me actually considering the concept of liking men, maybe not even in a sexual way. But it was the first step in maturely consciously determining what makes a person decide to be gay. A couple of days passed by when I unexpectedly bump into Carter walking in the common areas of the apartment complex. We once again exchanged greetings, except this time I told him, "I always run into you," to which he replied, "I know, right? It's weird," and I said, "It's because we live in the Matrix." He laughed and said, "It was nice to see you, Mike," and I replied, "Good to see you too." The way he said "it was good to see you" really struck a note in me this time. On both the last two occasions that we talked to each other, Carter would end the conversation by letting me know that it was good to see me. In my own personal style of speaking with other people, I would rarely say that phrase to others unless I had not seen them in a long time, and we were good friends with each other. I thought that it was so sweet and nice of him to say that, and I started to wonder to myself, does he say that with everyone? Is he always that polite and nice to everyone he associates with? Inside my head, I was still kind of resistant to the idea of me looking to have an intimate relationship with another guy. But slowly yet surely, I was becoming more accepting to the possibility of actually liking a guy more so than just being friends with them. Carter was unlike other people I came across in the past. For the first time, I actually viewed him as desirable and could see him playing a big part in my life. At the same time, I also wondered if he simply viewed me as a guy that he just wanted to have sex with and not actually have a relationship as a boyfriend with. All these thoughts were new to me, and I was really unsure of what the proper and right way was to view the situation that I was in with Carter. I didn't want to ask any of my friends for help because I feared that they would gossip about me or that they would ridicule and make fun of me. I also didn't want to use the internet for help because I thought that the idea of Googling "am I gay" was silly, but deep down I knew that I was hiding from a part of me that I didn't want to come out because it was so unknown and foreign to me. I started to realize that this must be where the popular expression "coming out the closet" came from, which was a really strange yet important moment in my life because I had been going through the same process that millions of gay people went through. I thought to myself, maybe I really am gay and should try to explore this part of my sexuality. I began to think about the stories that other gay people would say or post on social media, such as how great and liberating the feeling of coming out was, and how much freedom they felt once they finally told everyone and became openly gay. I remembered reading the overwhelming support that they received from the majority of friends and family in their life about their decision. One night, I saw a post that Carter made on his Snapchat story. It was him showing how he had burned his food while cooking and there were literally flames coming up from his pan with the smoke detector going off. I responded with a few laughing emojis and asked if he would like some help. I happen to be quite good at cooking just about anything and really enjoy doing so. Carter replied with, "Sure, come on over," and I began to walk up to his apartment. When I got there, it was just us two and a female friend of his. I started to look through his refrigerator and pantry for ingredients. He had a bunch of high-quality stuff, and I was excited to make a good meal for all of us to share. I ended up cooking pasta and it turned out to be delicious. The girl decided to leave and thanked me for showing up and cooking. I said that it was no problem and that I enjoyed cooking tonight. Now it was just me and Carter in the room, and the room became quiet while he was helping wash the dishes and putting them in the dishwasher. I was really nervous and could feel my heart beating faster all of a sudden. There was this incredible urge within me to talk to him about my feelings. I asked him how he went through the process of accepting himself as a gay person and let him know about all my past experiences with other gay friends of mine. He stopped washing the dishes and came to sit next to me at the table. He told me that all of the things I was talking about was completely normal, and that he, along with several other of his gay friends, all went through the same things in life. I was surprised to hear that my own life experiences fit the description of what gay people are like. He was really reassuring and told me that to take my time and to feel however I wanted to feel in order to be the best version of myself that I was comfortable with. I felt so safe and secure within his presence and asked him if I could hug him, to which he replied, of course. We embraced for what felt like forever, just rocking back and forth and enjoying the warmth that both of our bodies gave to each other. The next thing that happened was something that occurred out of pure instinct and emotion. We were still holding each other, but at this point we were looking at each other in the eye, not saying a word, and time felt like it was standing still. That was when I leaned in for the kiss and closed my eyes and felt his soft, wet lips against my own. We kissed a little longer than 10 seconds when I pulled away. We were both standing there smiling and enjoying the life-changing moment I just had. I told him, "I love you," and thanked him for everything that he had done for me. Carter replied, "Anytime, Mike, and thank you for dinner. If you ever need anything, let me know. And it was great having you over tonight." I blushed a little bit and told him, "It was good to see you too, Carter. I'll see you soon." I went back to my apartment and laid in bed thinking about all the possibilities that awaited me in the future, and I was really happy with everything that just happened. I went to bed feeling a type of comfort and peace that I had not felt in a long time. I woke up feeling refreshed and like a new person the next morning. The end. Thanks for watching. Consider subscribing to become a part of our Rainbow Force and stay wholesome.